All right, good afternoon and good morning if you're coming to join us from California. And then good evening a little bit for you, Flavie, because you are based in France. And we are delighted to have you today. You have a great subject. We're going to talk about the wine region. So if you want to introduce yourself and start the webinar.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dominique. Hello, everyone, and thank you for being with us today. My name is Flavie, and I'm the Director of Sales for Be Essential. We are a French receptive agency, but not only. We also provide concierge services to all your clients. Today, we're going to be talking about the different wine region of France. Sometimes it can be a big subject, knowing all the different domain, all the wine, and it can get a bit confusing. And when you're talking to your clients, we're going to review how we can make it perhaps simple and what will be really the highlight of France that your clients won't have to miss when they will be coming to France to taste some wine. So today we're going to be going to 4 different regions. The first one will be, of course, Bordeaux. So Bordeaux region offer your clients different wine destinations through the west, the east, and the south direction. So in just one trip, your clients can have 3 small different journey about the wine, depending on the direction that they are going to. Burgundy, of course. So Burgundy is with no doubt the destination for foodies, even if Bordeaux is a very good one as well. And it's a great destination also for the red and white wine lover. It's a very typical atmosphere, and it's away from the crowd that you can have perhaps sometime in Bordeaux. We're going to be talking also about Provence. So beside the lovely weather that we all enjoy when we go to Provence, Provence is one of the only location in France where your clients will be able to taste the 3 wine colors, so including the rosé wine. And we will finish by champagne. So on special occasion or not, yes, champagne can still surprise you. And yes, champagne is always a good idea. So indulge bubbles and history, only 1 hour away from Paris. And it's a 1 hour away by train, but it can be a 2-hour drive from Paris. So just for you to know, it's Burgundy and Champagne are very reachable for just a 1-day excursion. So the clients can depart in the morning from Paris and can come back in the evening with no problem. So we're going to start with Bordeaux. So as I mentioned, we're going to split in 3 different directions. So we're going to start first by the west coast of Bordeaux. So from Bordeaux to Soulac-sur-Mer along the Garonne, there you will discover the Médoc wine, including the Saint-Estèphe and the Côte d'Estournel. I will go a little bit more in detail into what you can see over there in the next slide. So just keep in mind, the west region of Bordeaux will be the Médoc wine. In the beautiful Libourne region, Saint-Emilion wines will suit your palate, and with famous red wine, of course, but even with tonic white wines such as Le Cheval Blanc. So that will be in Libourne region in Saint-Emilion area. And going south, you can extend your journey to the Pessac region to indulge some delicious Sauternes, Entre-deux-Mers for the white wine lovers. As you might know, all the wine from the Bordeaux region are known to well age. So clients usually like to bring a few cases, at least a few bottles, back to the US, and we can help them with that, just because they can keep it in their cellar for a few years with no problem. The wine will be even better sometime. So going a little bit more in detail into Bordeaux. So Bordeaux is a worldwide destination in regards to an unrivaled red wine, majestic domain, and history. Your clients can do, for example, a full day Médoc Grand Cru, including Château Margaux, Château Lafite Rochefide, or Château Latour. So if they are going west along the Garonne, the scenery will be pretty, but it won't be as pretty as Saint-Emilion area, but they will have all those big names, such as Château Margaux. Château Margaux is located in close to a small city, so it's not really in the middle of the countryside. Sometimes guests are surprised about this. So yes, keep in mind Médoc, west coast of Bordeaux, and then you can spend a full day there, going from chateau to other chateau. We have the possibility also to savor a delicious lunch and tasting at Chateau Montalbert. Chateau Montalbert is close to Saint-Émilion. It's very close as well to Chateau Figeac, that we can open the door for your clients to visit or to do a tasting over there. They have, of course, during their stay, the possibility to discover the Saint-Émilion village, which is listed as a UNESCO heritage, and the local wineries. In all the area of Saint-Émilion, you will find some very local or smaller wineries. So it's also a different approach of the trip. You can learn also about biodynamic wine and harvesting. And if you decide to go south to the Pessac region, if you remember, you can experience the magic of Chateau d'Yquem, which is part of LVMH properties. So a lot of persons know them for being part of LVMH. And over there, you can drink Sauternes wine. And of course, if you are in the area, there are plenty of other things to do than the wine. If you're going with a family, you can just dedicate 1 or 2 days doing some wine excursion. And then, for example, you have the Arcachon. So you can do a visit and a tasting in an oyster farm in Arcachon. Or you can also be a little bit more into sport and book a paragliding adventure over the bay. Or they have some really lovely and cute boats, which are called the Pinas boats, and you can have a ride with one of those boats. In Bordeaux, of course, it's a city where there are plenty of things to do in regards to architecture, in regards to art. You have the Château Labotière Contemporary Institute, and you have also Le Bassin des Lumières submarine based. We have something similar also in Paris with L'Atelier des Lumières, and basically it's an immersive show, and every few months, they change the topic. So it can be Van Gogh, it can be Monet. It's different, at least they change 2 or 3 times a year. And it's pretty impressive in Bordeaux because it's really in a submarine base. So it brings a very special feel. And of course, from Bordeaux, you can book a full day excursion in Cognac or in Dordogne, or you can also indulge vinotherapy with our friend at Source de Caudalie, for the one who know them. So this is a brief recap of what you can find in Bordeaux. So keep in mind the West Coast, the Médoc, you will have the South with the Sauternes, the white wine, and you will have also the east part of Bordeaux with Saint-Émilion village and their local wineries. Then we're going to go to Burgundy. So Burgundy, the 2 main grape varieties you will find there are Côte de Beaune and Côte de Nuit. So you will have the chance to taste them, and as well as the famous and delicious Chablis wines. Also, something pretty interesting is in South Burgundy, you can enjoy the wide range of Beaujolais red wine. French people celebrate every year their Beaujolais Nouveau in a cultural institution happening in all the bar, all the restaurant, all the supermarkets mid-September. So mid-November, sorry. So this is something that is pretty cool to do and is kind of a tradition in France. Mid-November, we taste the Beaujolais Nouveau, and we do it every year. Going more into details into Normandy, so you can, Burgundy, sorry, you can stay either in Dijon or in the medieval village of Beaune. And from there, you can book half day or full day or several days on the wine routes. There is a very important wine sale in Hospice de Beaune mid-November. So you can, mid-November, it's a good time to be in Burgundy. You can also have lunch with Le Clos Vougeot owners. We have the chance that the owner of our agency is a very good friend from school with the owner of Clos Vougeot. So we have the opportunity to not only have a tasting there and a tour of their property, but we can book a lunch also with the owners. Food tour and cooking class pair with wine tasting. It can be either in Dijon or either in Beaune. We have plenty of options for that. It can be also baking class with croissant and baguette in a very small and typical bakery in the city center of Beaune. In Dijon, you have a beautiful indoor fresh market. So people usually start going to the market, and then they start the cooking, and then they have the lunch. So it can be done either in Dijon or either in Beaune. And there is also a very special 5-star property that some of you might know in Burgundy, where clients can enjoy Ayurvedic retreats. The general manager of this property has been on board for more than 25 years. And he has some very well connection with some secret cellar that have been created centuries and centuries ago. So it's very interesting place to be, either for a retreat or just to get the connection also with this general manager that have all those passes to those secret cellars. And if you are in Burgundy, of course, do not miss the picturesque villages and the countryside, which is also listed at the UNESCO Heritage. The countryside, depending of the season where you're going, it's full of flower field, of rolling valley. It's very beautiful to drive by Burgundy. You have the possibility also to fly over the vineyard in a hot balloon. Keep in mind that usually those excursions are more in early morning. And also you can take the time to visit the Museum of Art of Dijon, which is a very big one in France, and it's very well known, or the Hospice de Beaune after hours also. That is one of the must-see in France or in Burgundy if you're going to Burgundy. So moving forward, we're going to be talking about Provence. We had the chance with the team to go there again 2 weeks ago for a farm trip, and it was really interesting. The picture that you have on the right side is the picture that I personally took of the Saint-Victoire Mont. That is, this mountain is very famous from Paul Cézanne painting. Some of you have maybe seen it before. And it's, I'm going to be talking a little bit more in detail about this special location, but it's a family domain and is a very unique and an exceptional place to visit. So talking about the different wine that you will find in Provence. So first of all, you can discover a selection of some of the best red wine in France with Châteauneuf-du-Pape in Côtes-du-Rhône, which is basically north of Avignon. In Côtes-du-Rhône, just for you to be aware, we are going through wine vineyards that are owned by farmer more than businessmen in tourism, compared perhaps to some of the domain close to Aix-en-Provence. So it's much more traditional, laid back also sometimes, even if it's Châteauneuf-du-Pape. So just for your clients to be aware, the atmosphere and the feel will be different in Côtes-du-Rhône, Châteauneuf-du-Pape, than what they will find in Cassis, Bandol, or Aix-en-Provence, for example. In Aix-en-Provence, in its surrounding, your clients will have the option to taste the 3 wine colors, as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, from Coteaux d'Aix or Saint-Victoire. So Saint-Victoire is the month that I was just talking about. And in beautiful Cassis and Bandol, so which is more east of Marseille, in Cassis you will focus on the white wine, and in Bandol you will find the 3 colors of wine as well. And Saint-Tropez, of course, is very, very famous for the rosé. So moving forward, you can depart from Aix-en-Provence, from Avignon, or from Marseille for some very big domain and very prestigious one, or some small family-owned domain, depending on what your clients are looking for. So here are a few highlights of what we've been doing 2 weeks ago, and what we really enjoyed. So as I mentioned earlier, the picture that we just saw before was taken from this family domain where there is a goat farm. So basically they are doing goat cheese on property, and we were able to see the farm with 180 baby goats. So that was pretty cute, I have to say, in the morning. And then during the summertime, of course, so you can visit the farm, you can learn how to do the cheese, you can just stay for wine tasting, but you also during summertime have the opportunity to dine overlooking the Sainte Victoire. So from the same seat, basically, from where I took the picture, you can have dinner there under the star and enjoy the scenery. We have some amazing domains also in Provence, such as Château de la Gaude or Château Lacoste, where you can enjoy wine tasting and art. There are some very, very original and impressive art pieces. It can be outdoor or it can be indoor, in the restaurant or just in the garden. Just for you to have an idea, Château Lacoste is 225 acres of vineyard and open art gallery. So it's very interesting. You can walk for hours inside the property and be surprised by everything that you will see. There is also the possibility to experience the harvest season in Domaine de la Baroche in Châteauneuf-du-Pape. So keep in mind, remember, Châteauneuf-du-Pape, they have a more focus on the vineyard and farming than just doing tasting to many tourists. All those excursions can be paired, of course, with picnic in the lavender fields. So as you know, lavenders are in flowers from mid-June to mid-July. We had the chance with our tour guide to go inside the fields. So they basically show us where they're taking the clients during the summertime, away from the crowd, away from all those buses coming sometimes from Asia. So we saw where the clients will sit, and it's under a tree in a lovely field, and it's very, very nice atmosphere. There is also the possibility to stroll in the typical village of Luberon. The clients can spend half a day or a full day doing those. It's really nice for shopping. So if your clients like shopping, advise them to let the guide know or to arrange the day so they can really enjoy some shopping time in all those small villages. And of course, there are the visit of the city of Arles, Avignon, and Marseille. And you can enjoy a boat ride by the breathtaking cliff of Cassis, which are really, really beautiful. And it's one of my favorite places in France, definitely. Moving from Provence, we're going to go to Champagne. So all those big champagne houses that you know, such as Ruinart, Taittinger, Dom Pérignon, Veuve Clicquot, or smaller champagne houses. Welcome to the only place in the world where champagne is produced. As you know, especially in the Bordeaux region and in the Champagne region, we have what we call AOC. And all the grapes that are produced on those land will have the name of Saint-Emilion or will have the name of Champagne, but nobody will be able to call a wine Champagne wine in a different region of France or in a different country in the world. So you will have the opportunity to taste authentic champagne and discover their bubbles through the year, their variety mixes, and their designation. Usually what we're going to be looking into a champagne is the thinness of the bubble and the number of bubbles. More bubbly is the champagne. Very often we say that better is a champagne. Some from Épernay or Reims, or even from Paris. All the champagne houses are very short distance, the one from the other. So you can have the possibility to come to Reims, for example, with the train, a 1-hour train, and then your clients will be picked up at the train station with a meet and greet and so on. But if they feel like driving on their own, they can also rent a classical car or we can have a driver for them in a vintage van, which is pretty cute, especially if you have some young clients on a honeymoon and they want a setup. They're staying in a beautiful 5-star, but they want something a little bit different at sunset. Then it's a small estafette, a small van, very nice. And basically they do a setup in the vineyard and they can have a tasting and at sunset with the vintage van and do a nice picture. And of course, something a little bit more sporty with a buggy. This is something that is feasible as well. You can savor a lunch at the Dom Pérignon, emblematic domain. For the one who don't know, we say that Dom Pérignon, who was a monk, is the one who invented the champagne. So there is also the possibility to go on his grave to say him thank you for the champagne, or just to have a nice and a quiet moment over there. Sell along some famous cave for exclusive tasting. So that's also a possibility if it's a beautiful summer day, just to be on the boat and to hop on different stops to go to visit vineyards. And you can also have at the Veuve Clicquot domain the opportunity to create your own champagne cocktail. For the one who weren't at the previous webinar where we talk about Le Grand Tour, this legendary train, there is an option which is only a 2-day, 1 night, where the clients will be able to visit Épernay and Reims. It's a very, very one-of-a-kind product. You can think of the Orient Express, but with all the technology and the comfort that we have nowadays. It's a very interesting product. And if your client don't have the time to do the 6-day, 5-night, they can enjoy for only a 2 days, a small part of the trip. The discovery of the Champagne region with a wildlife safari photo in the wood. This is something that is exclusive to our agency and that we put together. It's only for 1 or 2 person, and it's a very early departure, as you can imagine. Or simply hike in the countryside of Champagne and of course a visit of the Cathedral of Reims. There is a show that is pretty nice to watch. It's during weekend from May to October. It's a nighttime show with the cathedral under different light colors. So it's pretty interesting. And this is our contact. So Elbia, who is the owner of the agency, she's very easily reachable on WhatsApp. Here is her cell phone number, US cell phone number, French cell phone number, email address. We also have a link on our website where clients can directly put their lead. So if you're a travel agent, you meet with the clients on a Friday evening, you don't want to wait until Monday to send us the lead. You can just go online, fill in the form, and we have someone from operation on duty over the weekend to start working on proposal and to gain some time. And as you know, tour guide, restaurant, car service, they work on weekend. So it's very easy for us to start to move forward with that. If you have any question, I'm happy to answer your question.
Thank you very much, Flavie. Even me, I'm French. I used to be French before being American, so I learned a few things. And the first one actually is a rosé. I didn't know that only the south of France was making a Provence area was making rosé. Yes. I thought rosé was so popular, and it's just a mix of different grapes. So I guess they don't have it in different regions. Huh? That's interesting. Never knew that. If you have been asking if you had a map with all the region, maybe you can send it in the follow-up.
I can perhaps find one that is not too, that is easy to read.
Mm-hmm. And then Lola is asking, what is the minimum days you would advise for each location to enjoy each experience?
I will say definitely for the Bordeaux region, at least 4 or 5 days. So you can spend a full day in Saint-Émilion, in Pessac, and on the West Coast, on the Médoc. And you can spend 1 day at least minimum in Bordeaux. And then you always have half a day of traveling or packing, but at least a minimum of 4 to 5 days, in the Bordeaux region. In Burgundy, it can be done in 2 days. We have some excursion, which is a full day Côte de Beaune and a full day Côte de Nuit, which include usually 3 tasting, about 15 to 20 wine. But if the clients are not only willing to do wine tasting and want to enjoy a little bit more the cooking class in Dijon or the baking class in Beaune or do different things, I would say at least 3-4 days in Burgundy. And Provence, same, 4 to 5 days, such as Bordeaux. Even if the distance are not so far the one from the other, there are so much to see, not only the wine, but if you're in Provence, for sure, you will be willing to do perhaps half day wine and half day going to the Luberon village or half day visiting or doing a market somewhere. And then for the Champagne region, you can just go for a day or two. If you want to do some spa, they have amazing spa in Champagne, because usually very often men, I mean, women love wine, of course, but sometimes men like to go a little bit more to the tasting sometime. And then, so we have a lovely spa to please also the lady who were just happy with 1 or 2 tasting during the trip. So yes, 1 or 2 days at least minimum in Champagne. Same for Burgundy. We can do Burgundy in 1 day as well, but at least a few days. Longer in Bordeaux and in Aix-Provence region, and shorter stay perhaps in Burgundy and Champagne.
Laura is asking if can all these regions be reached easily by train?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You can go to Avignon or to Aix-en-Provence from Paris. It's very easily. It's less than 3 hours, 2 hours and a half. Or I have to double check, but it's even less than 2 hours and a half. And Bordeaux is very also reachable with a high-speed train. And same for Dijon or for Reims.
I have someone saying that the farmer market in Arles is fantastic. She was there about 3, or she or he, I can't see the name, was there about 3 years ago. Huh? Yeah, I mean, I love Arles. I think it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. What else? I had a question of vinotherapy, so I explained what vinotherapy was, but is it something actually maybe not many people know about it, and it's another alternative to wine tasting, to actually rub the pulp and things on you. And Caudalie, is Caudalie this brand the only one doing vinotherapy, or other ones have been?
So the Sauce de Caudalie is a lovely is a beautiful property. They are doing with Caudalie so the vinotherapy, but for example in Burgundy we have Hôtel Le Cep, who is also offering vinotherapy with a different brand than Caudalie. But so it's something that is quite famous.
And it's in the seeds. There is a glycosenol, something like this, and it's an antioxidant. So It's pretty clever. You basically using everything about the grapes. You squeeze it and then you rub it and you drink it. A good combination. So yeah, the anonym comment I had was from you, Pat. Thank you very much for clarifying. Angie, you want to see if you can combine Provence and Burgundy in 7 days?
It can be. But then you won't see everything, of course. But yeah, I think you can do for sure.
Now, if the focus is maybe just about tasting the wine and not doing too much of the rest,
Yeah, and more than 7 days about wine tasting, it starts to be a little bit hard, I think.
Yeah. If you want to know a little bit more about Be Essential concierge service.
Sure. So the way that we operate, we have an operation team that is based in Paris, and we have also a few agents working remote from Argentina, from different parts of the world. I'm personally based in Normandy, home base, and we don't have any minimum to work on a proposal, so we are happy to work just with you for a meet and greet, or it can be just a transfer. We help with all the concierge services such as restaurant reservation or police escort, if you have a big VIP, anything you can think of, we really try to help you. We have, of course, we are on the ground when your client is here traveling. We are in contact with them every day with reminders. If they have any issue, we had a client who depart from an airport and left her computer in a shop in the airport. So we were able to send her back the computer. So those little details, we are here for that. And what we try to push also is do not solicitate us just only for proposal, and give us a call whenever you need, before meeting with the clients, and we are here to talk with you, to give you some advice. We're just not here to do itineraries and invoices, but we are really here as advisors, and we try to be reachable on our WhatsApp number as much as possible. We don't really work on the French
time zone.
Office hours, if I will say, like 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. We always have someone on duty from operation during the week, in the evening, but also on weekends. And we're pretty flexible with the time. As you can see, it's 8:30 p.m. here, and I'm happy to be with you. So feel free to book also through Dominique website. You can book a call with me, and we can discuss a little bit more in details what you need, and I'll be happy to assist you. So I have in the schedule call during the day, French time, but also call in the evening. So if it's more convenient for you, I don't mind to jump on the call if it's 9 p.m. or something else.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you will see on our website, or there is a link to www.letsconnect365.com, and then you can make an appointment with our with Flavie, Be Essential, or our other DMCs or hotelier, and it's 15 minutes unless you wish to stay longer. But it's quite practical, and there is no deadline. It's every day, every week, or every month, and every year. We started at the beginning of 2021. Huh? So thank you, everybody. I just want to remind you that I am in Saint-Tropez, or I'm not in Saint-Tropez, but my background is Saint-Tropez. The hotel is opening on April 15, and I had the chance to see a vineyard over there, and it was on the beach. I'm sure you know which one. And it was a great combination. Is you have a picnic on the beach, you do the wine tour, and then you have your wine tasting or your picnic on the beach. I think that was a very nice idea, and that's one of the many things you're offering. Yeah.
Yes.
Voilà. So Flavie will send you the webinar recording. I think Flavie also maybe a map with showing all the region. I don't know if there is any more question. Thank you, Yvonne, for saying you had was a great presentation. We're so happy that many of you have a lot of interest for France, and definitely for our DMC. Trust me, they're fantastic. And I'm so proud we are proud to represent you, Flavie, and your company. Huh?
Thank you.
So let's see if there is Laura and G. Great presentation. Perfect. All the other questions are more. Thank you. So have a good rest of the day. Huh? Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening to you, Flavie. And we'll see you soon on another webinar. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
Merci beaucoup. Bye-bye.